I don't know what got into me, but I just finished reading the entire Detective Conan manga, all 11 and 57 chapters. It took me months to caught up to the recent chapters. I used to watch the anime every weekend. It was a fond memory of mine to watch this with my older sister. The story was centered around Shinichi, a high school detective crowned as the savior of Japan police force because of how much he contributed to solving murder cases that's happening around him. You might be curious on how many murder cases that has happened in this series up to the recent chapters, right? Well, you better stay till the end, where I will tell you how many times murder has happened in this series. So, the first chapter is just an introduction, where we learn who Shinichi is. Him having a date with Ran, his childhood friend, up until Shinichi got hit, drugged, and turned into a kid called Conan that we know today. Luckily, after that, Professor Agase, Shinichi's neighbor, who's an inventor, agreed to help him, but they need to keep the secret that he is Shinichi in order to not put everyone around him in danger. And the story starts. The journey of Edogawa Conan trying to fix his body by going after the man in black. Unlike his 16-year-old self, doing a detective work when you're a 6-year-old is a high challenge, since people won't take you seriously. After realizing solving cases are gonna be so difficult, Professor Agase gave Conan a few gadgets like a voice changer in the shape of a bow tie. He used this voice changer to solve cases through other people, and talking to Ran as Shinichi through the phone. Professor Agase also gave Conan a power-enhancing sneaker, a watch where he can tranquilize people, and a solar-powered rocket skateboard. To go after the man in black, Conan decided to stay with Ran and her dad, Mori Kogoro, a bumbling private detective, in hope that someday he will encounter a case involving the man in black. Near the end of the second volume, we get introduced to Conan's grade schooler friend, which later joined him and formed a Detective Boys, a somewhat kid detective group. At some point in time, even Ran got suspicious about Conan, since he behaved really similar to Shinichi, though Conan was always able to follow it up by acting goofy, so his cover doesn't get out. The next time Conan met with the Man in Black was in Volume 4. We get to know their codename, Gin and Vodka. Probably all of the other members also have a codename related to alcoholic drinks. The story mostly revolves around Conan solving cases after cases, mostly murders. There was one time where Conan refers back to Shinichi. That was cool, I guess. Makes us wondering about the drugs that made him revert at his age. Also, Kaito Kid, the mysterious phantom thief from Mechi Kaito, one of Gosho Aoyama's work, made his appearance from time to time in this series. Usually his case appears once every 3 volumes. He was set up to be one of Conan's rival, since he is also very smart, and even though Conan always outsmarts him, Kaito Kid always able to escape. And also about the Black Organization, the creator of the drug escaped with the cover name Haibara Ai. She is now one of the people who knows the identity of Shinichi Kudo. And even though she is the creator of the drugs, she couldn't really make a cure for it, since it is really complex. And the data for the original drugs has been destroyed by a virus. Around 50 chapters has passed until Conan encountered gin and vodka again. After getting caught, telling them Jin told Pisco, one of their members, to get rid of Haibara, no matter what. Of course, they'd fail, and it seems this Jin isn't the leader, even though Vodka called him boss. Also, at one point, Haibara managed to make a temporary cure, and Shinichi was able to return to his real age, albeit it's only for a few hours. As I reach the 300 chapter mark, at this point you might think, oh, Kogoro is a fraud. Conan did all the work. Well, maybe. But even Kogoro has solved multiple cases, where he really solved the case, with Conan barely even helping him. These cases usually involve his friends or families. Essentially, he is useless in a normal case. But when his friend or his family are getting dragged through a case, all of the neurons in his brain light up. After that, it's the usual solving case after case. It would be impossible and hella boring to list and talk about them one by one in this video. But in short, sometimes they encounter members of the black organization and the story progressed a little. Like they had an FBI informant and also another mysterious entities that infiltrate the black organization. I must say that the case I always looking forward is the Kaito Kid case. It is always fun to read because you always wonder who he's disguising as and how he will be able to escape Conan's attempt to catch him. The case about Kokoro and his wife is also good because both of them has agreed to live separately even though they are still married, and this case proves that they somewhat still love each other. Around chapter 1000, yes, it was a journey for me. The world finally knows that Shinichi Kudo, who the black organization listed as dead, is still alive. This stirs up a big problem for Conan in the future. All of this because Conan just can't let opportunity to go on a field trip with Run together as Shinichi. Because Haibara has managed to make an even stronger cure for the drugs, but only lasted for a few more hours. Also, at this time, Ran and Shinichi officially becomes a couple. Fun fact, since the series was started in 1994, you can notice how they went from using flip phones to using smartphones. Though, since the years of the series took place has never been mentioned at all. All I know is that from Shinichi was drugged to the current chapters, it's only been about 6-7 months. Isn't that crazy? 31 years in real life, but not even 1 year has passed in their world. Anyway, since the news has spread, Shinichi's parents finally got involved. Through their influence, they suppressed the media, and Kudo Yusaku, Shinichi's father, was able to figure out the name of the black organization, Karasuma. Since the situation has turned for the worse, Kudo Yusaku, who I believe to be the smartest character in this series, is going to help Conan directly. At this point, the puzzle pieces slowly filling the frame, piece by piece, the lore coming up together. And Karasuma finally made their big move in chapter 1060. They started targeting the FBI agents that are in Japan. Of course, Conan and one of the smartest FBI agents easily intercept their attacks and made them retreat. After a while, I finally complete reading all 1157 chapters. It was quite a journey. Though most of the cases used the same format, Conan and his companion go somewhere. One of them screams, "Kya!" as they discovered a corpse. Conan just barged in and investigate the crime scene. After finding out who the culprit is and how they killed the victim, he put either Kokoro or Sonoko to sleep to solve the crime through them with using a voice changer. And then the culprit tells their motive and side backstory, which usually because of revenge. And for the total murder case, I know you've been waiting for this. That Conan solved is around 161. In the wiki, his complete solved case is around 300-ish if you include the kidnapping case, attempted murder, stealing, finding missing stuff. Considering the time frame of this series, it is still a lot. Just know at some point Conan said that he solved around 6-7 cases in a month. I gotta say, my favorite characters are Conan, Uncle Kogoro, and Kaito Kid. By the way, even though the serialization has lasted over 3 decades, you can see from chapter 1 to the current chapters, the art style hasn't changed that much. It is pretty consistent. Reading the early chapters gave me some nostalgia to when I used to watch the anime, as well as buying the physical volume. My gripe with this series is that how the hell every killers in this series able to come up with complex way to murder someone. Credit where credit is due. It is amazing how Aoyama Gosho sensei are able to come up with these murder ideas as well as a unique way to solve them. Out of all 161 murder cases, I was able to correctly guess about 20 of them. Sometimes you really have to pay attention and somehow knows the most random trivia. It is exactly like that one Family Guy cutaway about Sherlock Holmes.
Watson, a clue! The intruder has tracked in a red clay which can only be found near London's homosexual bathhouse.
Amazing, Holmes. How did you know that?
Just from, like, books and stuff.
Yes, I just did a Family Guy cutaway in this video. Anyway, now that the story has been progressing really fast, I can't wait for the newest chapter to drop. If you think this video is cool, please leave a like and leave a comment about the most random facts you know.